All right, welcome to another episode of our podcast, bringing people with more bright insights, tips, and tricks on how to do business. So, ayun na nga, pag-uusapan natin for today's episode is all about the role of e-commerce to our current business industry, di ba? So, we are joined here today by our guest speakers, ang La Filipina Economistas. So, hello everyone, welcome to our podcast. And as usual, let's go through the requested topics ng ating mga avid listeners and viewers. So, ito is galing siya sa poll last week natin, okay? Shout out sa mga marketing students ng RTU, our avid fans sa ating podcast. Ayan. So, ladies, may we start off sa ating topic number 1, which is the evolution of e-commerce from past to present and syempre to the future. Ano po ba yung mga masasabi natin tungkol dito?
Hello! Ayun si Dita Maso.
Good evening. Welcome to the podcast.
Yes. Just to make this a boom, diba? Well, alright. So, first of all, e-commerce did not exist at all dati. Everything is within the traditional medium. Of course, yung mga trades and mga e-commerce and physical value ang transactions ng mga society. And syempre, nandiyan ang basic commodities na sinitrade ng mga tao like pagkain, minsan damit or lupa. Until magde-develop din ng iti-trade ang jewelry, alahas, at such as diamonds and rubies. And of course, ang mas recommended mode of payment dati. So, as time goes by, of course, technology is slowly improving din. And little by little, nagiging dependent na ang society sa monetary values. And then the stock exchange, which made it possible for us to be able to trade internationally. And it create a value of something that is within the value of the currency itself, diba? Then, there it is, a mode of payment made available to everybody. E-payment, how about it? It is now we are able to withdraw from an ATM machine and wireless transfers made possible. And of course, di pa dyan tumitigil ang evolution ng e-payment. We're now able to transact, purchase things within few clicks only from any part of the world. And then, e-commerce is now presented as new marketplace models sa ating society from anywhere in the world. And we can pay for services, products, or whatever you want. And e-commerce made this everything so possible. And in the future, we can only expect more security features, more convenient payment models. I am sure kung ano man yung available features ng e-commerce ngayon will be 10 times better than we have today. I guess that's all. Thanks the question.
Alright, so there we have it. Our topic number 1 properly discussed. Okay, so thank you for that, Miss Mitzi. So who would have thought nga, diba, the changes of e-commerce through time? Sobrang dami na dagdag at patuloy-tuloy na dumadagdag sa features ng e-commerce. Okay. So next topic naman is from digital marketing strategies for business na online. So digital marketing strategies for online business. So let's start the discussion. Do I see someone na gustong mag-discuss ng ating topic number 2?
And so, sige, ako na magdi-discuss
Thank
ng
you.
topic.
Alright.
Ng topic 2 for our supporters, di ba?
Thank you for that.
Hi, I am Jasmine Elaine Javier.
Good
And I would like to say that marami na tayong mga available tactics and strategies na ginagamit for our online businesses. So, syempre, simulan na natin sa pinakamadaling strategy. Walang iba kundi yung social media interaction. So, as an online business starting up from scratch, first step natin is ma-establish yung social media accounts natin. So, make an online presence by posting sa Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and many more. So, that way, yun yung pinakaunang pupuntahan ng mga tao since they heard about your products, services, your business in general. So another strategy I would like to suggest is yung mga paid promotions where gagamitin ng isang social media application yung kanilang algorithm. So yun yung system na nagtatrack ng mga preferences ng users. Kasi once mag-avail ka sa paid promotion program ng isang social media platform, they will get your details, yung mga content na gusto mong i-promote, and ipapakita nila yung demographic na binigay mo sa kanila as your target audience. Ayan. So, another thing is, of course, we can do discounts and promo codes enticing the people to avail our business. Like yung buy one, take three, or pwede rin buy two. 50% 50% na yung mga third purchase nila. Yung mga deals like that. And lastly, another common strategy is yung business resort, is yung affiliation or yung pagkuha ng content creators with an established viewers based na kasi yun agad sa kanilang mga viewers. So, this content creator will feature your products, i-review nila, and hopefully attract their viewers to try your business or yung mga products na ini-endorse mo. So, ayan yung mga few digital marketing strategy natin na ginagamit ng mga online business owners.
Alright. Very well said. So, yung online businesses has never been easier, ika nga, kasi dahil sa digital marketing strategies. Alright, so far so good, but we are also far from over. Ladies, pag-usapan na natin yung topic number 3. So it says here that topic number 3 is social media and influencer marketing. Do we have any takers?
I'll explain this one. So, nanggaling na rin tayo sa digital marketing strategies for online businesses. Di na rin tayo nalalayo sa affiliation programs ng mga social media platforms. So, I will just focus on the other topic, alright? Influencer marketing is basically entrusting your product promotion to known internet personalities. Merong iba't ibang level ng influencer, and basically ito rin magiging basis ng kung gaano kamahal ang pag-affiliate sa kanila for your product. Let's go through them one by one. So we have nano influencer with over 1,000 to 10,000 followers. Usually they are the ones that are actively looking for sponsorship kaagad. I wouldn't go so far by saying na mas madali sila i-hire, but sila din mismo naman na they don't want to lose opportunities, diba, of getting affiliated by businesses. Then we have the micro level influencer with over 10,000 to 100,000 followers. They're still on the lookout for these kinds of opportunities. However, of course, syempre kung mataas ang fan base, edi mataas din yung presyo. And then yung macro level influencers, those are the kind of influencers na 100,000 to 1 million na yung followers nila. So syempre, higher the fees, higher yung affiliation cost, and basically mga big businesses na yung kumukuha sa kanila. And lastly, syempre yung pinakabigatan, yung celebrity. So yung celebrity level influencers with over 1 million followers, I'm so sorry for the dogs. Pero anyway, they appear on advertisements sa mainstream media like TV, magazines, usually mga corporations na ang kumukuha sa kanila. Usually mga brand ambassadors and all, and they get paid to wear their products. So just wearing them alone, nababayaran na agad sila doon. And considered to be one of the most expensive influencers talaga. But the return naman is mataas din. Yields the highest rate of success sa promotion ng business mo. So I hope I am able to properly give all of you some ideas on how influencer marketing works, even though merong noise sa background ko. So that's all, host.
Alright, let's give it up for Miss Lian sa thorough explanation kung paano gumagana yung influencer marketing. Okay? Very well said sa ating topic. So let us now move on to another requested topic from our poll last week. Social media marketing. Hindi na rin nalalayo, no? So very broad. Generalize itong topic natin. So ladies, any takers sa topic na to?
Alright, so hi, I am Angela, and for social media marketing, first thing first, social marketing isn't just about posting pretty pictures or going viral. It's really about using like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and even LinkedIn to connect with the people. Social media is all about connecting. And once again, And once na mag-check ka, yung connecting mo with the people, they will be hooked, patronize you, follow your stories through your social media. Now, a lot of people think you need thousands of followers or some viral moment to succeed. Honestly, that's not true. What matters most is being consistent, being real, and creating content that actually gives people something. For example, is yung value. Value ang pinakagusto ng mga tao. Yung value ng content mo sa daily life nila. Another big thing is yung knowing your audience. You don't have to be everywhere at once. It's more important to focus on where your people are. If you're targeting Gen Z, maybe you're leaning into TikTok or Reels and things like that. But kung medyo age na yung viewers mo, you can use Facebook Reels, di ba? Either way, it's about speaking their language and understanding what kind of content they connect with. And visuals matter, of course. Aware tayo na sa panahon ngayon, sobrang bilis na mag-scroll ng mga tao, di ba? So, what you have, try different ideas, learn what you work as you go. If I have to give one piece of advice, it's just do it. Even if you feel awkward, even if you're figuring out, just post it, test things, and look at the results. Social media is one big experiment, and the only way to get better is by doing it.
All right. Wow, I like it. I like this answer talaga. Very empowering, Miss Angela. Thank you. Very great. So, to our social media marketing people dyan, yan, mga aspiring influencers, sana nakatulong yung insights ni Miss Angela sa inyo. Hi! All right. So, next topic natin is all about consumer behavior in digital age. Yan. So, medyo complex itong ating topic ngayon, no? But of course, our guests will be able to provide more information about it, di ba? So, do we have any taker for this topic?
Yes, ako na to. Todo na to. And as a marketing management student kasi, napapansin ko talaga kung gaano kalaki ang naging pagbabago sa consumer behavior ngayon sa digital age. Hindi na siya katulad nung dati na basta bili na lang. Ngayon kasi yung mga consumers are smarter and more aware. And before pa sila bumili is nagre-reach out muna sila online. Tinitingnan nila ang reviews, nagtatanong sa comments, o kaya nanonood sila ng TikTok or YouTube videos tungkol sa isang product na gusto nila. And karamihan kasi sa atin ngayon is nag-shopping gamit lang ang phone. Meron yung habang nasa biyahe, habang kumakain, or kahit bago matulog, ganyan. Super fast-paced kasi ngayon ang brands, and they have just a few seconds to grab our attention. And napapansin ko rin na mas gusto na ng mga consumers ngayon yung personalized experience. Kasi yung feeling na parang bagay talaga sila sa kanila yung product or service. Kasi kaya sobrang laking tulong ng data and social media insights para sa mga marketers. Kaya bilang future marketers or influencers, dapat marunong din tayong makinig. Hindi lang to basta benta ang habol, kundi authenticity, connection, at value na mararamdaman ng audience.
Alright, so let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Miss Jean. So, with the right conduct of studies, yan, matatrack natin yung customer's behavior and improve our product. Yes, that makes sense. Alright, for the next topic naman, it's mobile commerce trends or M-commerce trends. Anyone from our lovely guests?
Willing to share po. Yan.
Right.
When it comes to mobile commerce po kasi, napaka-relevant nito lalo na sa generation natin. Sa student and at as the same digital customers, nakikita ko talaga yung ang mobile phone have become a powerful tool. From ordering, buying essential, booking service, lahat halos phone na yung gamit. So, isa sa mga noticeable trend is yung integration ng e-wallet like GCash and Maya. So dahil dito, mas naging convenient at mabilis yung transaction. May mga exclusive app, deals pa minsan na talagang nakaka-attract sa mga buyers. So, nandyan din po yung mga live selling sa TikTok, Facebook, Nakakatuwang panoorin at very engaging talaga, lalo na kapag may interaction with the seller and viewers para nagiging experience na rin siya, hindi lang basta shopping. Pero dahil dito, tumataas din yung expectation ng mga customers. Gusto nila mabilis, simple, at hassle-free. Kaya for us as a future marketers, it's important na maging aware tayo sa behavior ng mobile users and we should always adapt to make their shopping experience better and smoother. Yun lang naman.
Alright, so thank you for that, Mr. Yani. Mag-overtime na pala tayo sa podcast natin. No? Pero okay lang yan. Tuloy-tuloy ang ating discussion about the topics na nakuha natin sa poll last week. Anyways, we have our next topic from that insightful topic. Ang next natin is e-commerce platforms. So we have Shopee, Lazada, Facebook Marketplace, etc. Alright. Do I see Miss Mitzi raising her hands? Let's go.
Yes, I'm happy to talk about that. And when we look at e-commerce platforms like Shopee, Lazada, and Facebook Marketplace, makikita natin kung paano na nababago ang paraan ng pamimili ng consumers at pati na rin yung businesses. And then, this platform made online shopping so accessible and efficient. And as a student, I've seen how they become go-to places for almost anything, whether it's gadgets, school supplies, or even delivery. And isa sa mga key trends na napansin ko is the increase of use of flash sales and discount campaigns. And then, talaga naman mahusay ang mga platforms na to para makasya ng attentions like go, go, go! Especially kapag may time-limited deals or bundle discounts, and with the reviews and even influencers' endorsements, kaya mas madali nila nakikita kung worth it ba ang bilihin. And the Shopee and Lazada also have features like buy now, pay later, and cash on delivery, which is a cater to wider range of consumers. Lalo na yung mga mas prefer magbayad ng installments or cash, these options make e-commerce even more appealing. Especially to students and younger buyers na hindi laging may full amount of upfront. Pero syempre, may challenges din sa sobrang daming sellers sa platform nito. To stand out sa businesses, it needs to focus on consumers sa service. And then, sa product quality, and syempre, sa fast delivery para ma-maintain yung loyal customer base nila. That's all.
Alright, so thank you for that. Thanks once again, Miss Mitzi. Very well said, no? Lahat naman tayo gumagamit ng mga platforms na to para makabili ng kung ano-ano sa internet. Okay. So, for the next topic, it's e-payment systems. Di na rin masyado nalalayo sa recent topic natin. So, do we have someone na kayang mag-explain ng e-payment systems para sa ating viewers and listeners?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening, let's go.
Good evening. When we talk about e-payment systems, sobrang importante siya ngayon, lalo na sa digital age. As a student, we don't have to worry about going to the bank or standing in line just to pay for something. Maglalaan pa ba tayo ng time? Syempre, with that, with help of GCash and PayMaya or even our bank's mobile app, it's so much easier to send money, even pay bills, and do online shoppings. Lahat pwede na sa phone. So, one huge advantage of e-payment is convenience. Syempre, lahat naman tayo gusto ng convenience, diba? Wala nang hassle sa pagpunta ng mga stores or ATM. You can do everything with just a few taps on your phones. So, sometimes, it's even faster, especially when transactions are instant, like with GCash or PayMaya. Pero, with great convenience comes great with responsibility. Wow! Diba? Kasi with the rise of digital payments, we also need to be extra careful about our security. Hindi lang basta magbayad, kailangan natin siguraduhin kung safe ba siya sa ating personal and financial information. Fraud scams or data breaches are real. So, we need to be mindful of that. And of course, hindi lang sa personal use ang e-payments. They're also changing the way businesses operate, giving even small businesses a chance to thrive. So, it's not just about convenience, it's about trust and security in the digital world. Pero, at the end of the day, we all want convenience. But let's not forget, kahit gaano ka-timely or ka-modern yung technology, kailangan pa rin talaga nating mag-ingat. Kasi ano lang yan parang love life lang. Mabilis sa simula, pero kapag hindi ka nag-ingat, bigla ka na lang talagang mawawala. And magsisisi ka na lang na sana GCash na lang yung pinili ko, hindi siya.
Oof. Alright. Bakit naman nun, di ba?
Diba? Mhm.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Alright, a round of applause for Miss Jasmine. Thank you for that insight sa GCash. Joke lang. Nag-drop ng brand name. Alright, moving on. Thank you for that. Topic number 9. Anyone who would like to discuss the marketing analytics and data-driven decision making. A very complex topic. Do we have anyone?
Ako na to.
Miss
Tama
Lian,
si
thank
Miss
you.
Jasmine. Tama si Miss Jasmine. Baka Gcash siya lang ang hindi nagloloko. Di katulad ni X, di ba? Anyway, let's talk about marketing analytics and data-driven decision making. Wow, medyo heavy na topic to. But honestly, this is super important for businesses today. In this digital age, everything we do online, whether it's a simple click on an ad, a like, or a comment, generates data. And businesses now have the power to track, analyze, and use this data to make better decisions. So, hindi na pwedeng feeling lang na marketing strategy. Kailangan ng facts, ng numbers, and most importantly, insights. Marketing analytics is all about using tools and techniques to measure and analyze the effectiveness of marketing efforts. So, for example, through analytics, businesses can know which ads are performing well, which products are being clicked on the most, and even anong oras o anong araw yung customers are most active. Data-driven decision-making, on the other hand, means that businesses no longer have to rely on guesswork or gut feelings. Instead, they can make informed decisions backed by actual data. Kaya kung dati, ang marketing strategies ay parang tadhana, hindi mo alam kung mangyayari ba ngayon or kaya ba natin makontrol. Pero ngayon, kaya na natin kontrolin ng flow. Parang control click lang. So, for us, future marketers need to understand how to gather and interpret this data to create strategies that actually work instead of just hoping for the best. Kasi sa huli, hindi data ang magpapautang sa'yo o magbabayad sa bills mo. Pero kung tamang data mo, baka makatulong ka pa sa negosyo mo. Kaya huwag magpapahulog sa feelings, kundi dapat sa facts.
Very well said. Right. So, interesting choice of topics from our viewers. Parang hindi estudyante itong ating mga viewers, no? Sa mga topics nila, napaka-complex. Alright, next topic. Which is the role of AI and automation in e-commerce. Ayan, medyo contemporary na tong topic na to. So, do you have Miss Angela who would like to share your insights about this? Thank you.
Thank you. So, ayan, I'm excited to share about AI and automation in e-commerce. Grabe, parang buhay na rin natin ngayon ang AI, di ba? So, parang ako, si AI lang nakakaintindi sa akin. Pero seryoso, AI and automation are changing the game for e-commerce businesses in a big way. For starters, AI helps businesses by automating processes that used to take time and manpower like inventory management, customer support, and even product recommendations. For example, have you ever noticed how Shopee or Lazada suggest products na parang they know that you've been looking for or even buying before? Diba? That's AI in action. It's like that one friend who's always watching you and knows what you need before you even ask for it. Another big thing is yung chatbot, yung mga automatic responses sa websites or social media pages. They answer your questions anytime, anywhere, 24/7, even kapag lahat ng mga agents are asleep or busy. Kaya kung minsan, yung chatbot pa ang mabilis mag-reply kaysa sa mga nag-ghost, di ba? But seriously, with AI, businesses can analyze customer behavior more accurately and adjust their strategies faster. For example, it can predict what product will be trending next and what kind of promotions to run and even the best time to launch a sale. So AI makes businesses smarter and more efficient, and even customers like us benefit from the convenience. In the end, AI and automation are really shaping the future of e-commerce. Pero, siyempre, we still need human touch, di ba? At saka, at the end of the day, AI is just a tool. It's how we use it that makes all the difference. Yan.
Yeah, a round of applause naman kay Miss Angela. So, thank you so much for your wonderful insights. And our last topic for today is ethical and legal issues in e-commerce. Ayan. So, medyo madami tayong nakaka-relate dito sa topic na ito. It's about safety and all ng e-commerce. So, Miss Jean, do you have anything to discuss with us about sa chosen topic ng
Yes.
ating mga viewers?
Yes, thank you. So our topic is ethical and legal issues in e-commerce. Medyo serious siya, pero super important. Lalo na ngayong lahat kasi is online na. Pero teka, para mas relatable, isipin nyo na lang na parang yung crush nyo yung online seller. So, minsan kasi, di ba, ang ganda ng presentation, ang linis ng layout, ang promising ng description. Pero pag binili mo, biglang sobrang big red flag pala. Isa siyang pakwan. And one of the ethical issues in e-commerce talaga is yung misleading advertisements. Businesses, kasi ito dapat, businesses must always be honest about their products. Para hindi tayo umasa sa wala. Gaya ng mga ginagawa ng crush natin. And then we have the issues of the data privacy. Customers give a lot of information about their addresses, contact numbers, payment details. So sellers needs to be more extra careful and more responsible, syempre. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta lang i-share o ibenta yan. Kasi kung hindi protected, is baka mapunta sa maling kamay. And also, let's not forget pala, yung fake products and scams. May mga nagbebenta kasi ng counterfeit items na akala mo legit. And this is not only unethical, but also illegal. And of course, businesses needs to comply with the law and uphold integrity. Kasi trust ang puhunan sa e-commerce. At sa love life, di ba? So, in short, e-commerce should be built on trust, transparency, and respect. Hindi lang ito basta bentahan lang. This is a relationship between the seller and the buyer. And sana all honest, di ba? Hindi yung paasa lang. Tulad nung isa dyan.
Alright, so there we have it. Everyone, let's have a round of applause. Okay, ang daming mga patama. Ang daming mga
Drop
paliyab
name.
sa ating mga... Yes, kapag ganyan din na drop name na yung ganyan, okay? Alright. Everybody, a round of applause again. Thank you everyone sa ating insights about sa topics na binigay sa atin last week sa poll ng ating mga viewers, which is the RTU marketing students. Thank you everybody. Thank you sa pagsubaybay sa ating episode for today. Right, thank you. And for our closing remarks, okay, let's invite our members for this closing remarks. Thank you so much again.
Hello again, everyone. Before we officially end this episode, let's do a quick recap of the discussion. Today, we explored several topics under e-commerce and digital marketing, including this. Ayan, sobrang dami nating natutunan today, and to make it even more relatable, we'll now share a few of our personal experiences when using e-commerce platforms like Shopee, Lazada, Facebook, Marketplace, and more.
Ako, sa Shopee, madalas yung order. Lalo na sa school supplies and phone accessories. Minsan, nakakatakot sa mga baka fake seller eh. Pero ang ginagawa ko, binabasa ko talaga yung reviewers. Tinitingnan ko yung Shopee Mall para safe. That's all.
Well, here, same naman tayo na experience. Pero more on Facebook Marketplace ako eh. So, dito nakascore ako ng mga pre-love books. So, doon, very cheap yung mga prices. Ang downside lang naman minsan kasi is yung meet-up. Siya kaya, kailangan maging extra careful. Dapat may kasamang boyfriend or friend, ganyan.
Ako naman, may fun experience ako. So, nag-order ako ng hoodie sa Lazada. Then, pagdating niya, pang bata pala yung hoodie. Kaya ayun, lesson learned na, always basahin ang size chart. Pero overall, sobrang convenient talaga ng online shopping. Especially na as a student, sobrang...
Yes.
Ako, recently, nag-avail ako ng online service via GCash. Nagbayad ako ng bill sa kuryente, super hassle-free. Dati, kailangan ko pa pumila sa labas. Ngayon, isang tap na lang. And game changer ito talaga sa mga digital transaction.
Yung akin kasi, mine's so kind of risky. I tried ordering skincare set from a new seller. And wala pa siyang masyadong reviews, pero may discount kasi siya. So, thankfully, legit siya. Pero after that, mas naging cautious na ako. Mas naging cautious na ako. And, kasi truth is earned. And hindi lang sa tao, syempre, ganun din, pati sa sellers.
There you have it! Our real-life experience with e-commerce platforms. From funny mistake to smart purchases talaga siya. Lahat tayo may natutunan sa paggamit ng digital tools in our daily lives. So sana kayo rin, our listeners, have learned a lot from today's discussion, lalo na yung mga aspiring marketers or entrepreneur dyan. So we've seen how powerful e-commerce and digital marketing are in shaping consumers' experiences, and as a future professionals, we must always keep learning and adapting. So this podcast episode is brought to you by Marketing Management under the subject e-commerce. Special thanks to our Professor Joshua Elaine Bunag for guiding us through this project, and of course, shout out sa mga amazing co-hosts and guests for sharing their insight and time. Once again, this is Rayani Generoso signing off. Thank you for signing in and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye!
That's a wrap. Woo!